and then because I'm just gonna record this whole thing. Cool. All right.
Hi Daniel.
All right, Desiree, how you doing? You all right?
Yeah, do you want me to turn my camera on?
Yeah, yeah. So we're just gonna get everyone to come in. And when it hits 7, we'll start. But yeah, feel free to turn your cameras on. Alina, Harriet, nice to meet you. Again, I'm completely up to you to turn your cameras on as well. Obviously, in terms of the whole network, we want people to show their face.
Mhm.
I'd like you all to also meet Anya, who's part of our marketing team. Talk to Dan. She'll be helping coordinate in the session as well. But Anya's gonna share with you like a little icebreaker in the chat. And we'll be open for you to everything go around the room. She'll get you guys to go around the room and basically just sort of like discuss this before we get into the session. Does that all sound good to everyone? And so yeah. So Anya, I'll pass over to yourself. Do a little intro about you and yourself, and then obviously go around the room and just yeah, the icebreaker as well.
Hello everyone. My name's Anya. I'll start off by answering the questions that's there just to kind of break the ice a little bit. How I got into field of media would be more of a lot of people around me have a lot of small businesses. So I just started off by managing their content. And then I really liked it, editing and recording and then doing all the following and the captions. So then now I do social media management as freelancing. I am based in London and a lot of my clients I take is London. Um, I have been to Birmingham a couple times. So I do go there sometimes to help with social media managing when I'm recording. In terms of how I heard of Talk to Dan, I did work experience a couple years ago, and then yeah, just been working ever since. So I will pass it on to Harriet. So I'll ask you the first question, which is how did you get into media?
I'm currently still studying, actually. So I'm at a film school at the moment, and
Okay.
hopefully going into film and TV in sometime in the future.
And how you finding it?
I'm really enjoying it, yeah. And then just trying to get the networking events in, obviously, to kind of build up connections and meet other people with similar interests.
Good, that's good. That's good. I'll pass it on to Alina now. What's your field of media if you're into media currently, and how did you hear about Talk to Dan?
Hi, how are you everyone? Yeah, so I have graduated. I did study media and communications. My first job, I've only really had one job after university was which was in marketing. But more of my interests are on the TV and film side. So just, looking at, so I left that, but I just wasn't enjoying that as much as I was marketing on the fintech side, which was a lot of good really learning, but just
Yeah.
wasn't what my thing. And so like at uni, and I've done internships at like a production house. I've done like small things like own like your own student film project, indie projects, help with other people's films. I haven't done anything like really concrete in TV and film. So yeah, just looking for opportunities in that and going to events like in person or if they're online, like these free networking events. And I'm also based in London. And what was the other question? And I heard about Talk to Dan from Creative Lives. I think that was like a website that I find other job opportunities on.
Yeah,
So I saw that as an event, and I was like, yeah, I should definitely sign up. So yeah, that's me.
nice, nice. Cool.
Good. And then Desiree, if I pronounced your name right, sorry if I didn't. But yeah, what's your field of media? How did you hear about Talk to Dan and where are you based?
My field of media is more 3D. Um, yeah, 3D modeling stuff. I just finished my master's degree. Well, I finished last year. I have my graduation tomorrow, actually. I
Ooh,
finished my
hope you have a good
master.
graduation.
Thank you. I finished my master of arts or digital arts. I've not actually had any work experience because I did my master's after I finished my bachelor's. Um, I wanted to get into games, but the games industry is a bit iffy right now. So I'm just looking for to broaden my horizons and stuff. Um, and yeah, I'm just doing mainly networking events. What was the other question? Oh, and I found about Talk to Dan through a friend of a friend.
Good stuff, good stuff, good stuff. Um, and then Maya, what's your field of media?
Hi, yeah, I have been freelancing for like news radio for the last year. Um, but I kind of want to be more in like podcasting or like unscripted TV or documentary. So yeah, I've just been like looking. I don't have like any degree or anything in it. I did a degree in philosophy and sociology, and then worked for a magazine, and then moved to radio. But yeah, I'm just looking around. I can't even remember how I found Talk to Dan because I've literally just been like nailing all the job websites and all the like all the information you can possibly get for the last kind of month. I went like away from my job that was based in London, and uh so yeah, I've been just looking everywhere. So I've stumbled across it in one of my many days looking for experience and for work and stuff, and it just sounded good.
Yeah, so how would you say you found like getting into the media industry so far?
Um, I so my work, I worked at Times Radio, and that was through like a job that I applied for that I didn't get, but because they do a lot of freelance stuff, they were like, "Would you want to come and freelance for us instead?" Um, which was good, but it's kind of tricky to build experience when you're like doing shifts here and there and stuff. And yeah, like I said, I was based in London, and I ended up working like two, three jobs at a time because it's so hard to make enough money to pay rent. And I think from talking to other people and stuff, like they've found that something really hard as well, like trying to like a lot of it is based on freelance contracts, and that's just not
Yeah.
sustainable for a lot of people. So yeah, hence why I'm like broadening my horizons now, and I'm based up north at the moment, so I'm trying to find some work in Manchester.
Okay, well, thank you for sharing that.
No worries.
Cool. That's interesting, Army. Sorry, who just spoke? Getting confused with people coming in. Maya, right? Yeah. So we're actually looking to expand to Manchester, if you're aware of that, more near the end of the year. So this event program is now in our fourth year, so that's the next location. So I'm sure obviously you'll be happy to
Love
hear that as
that. Yeah,
well.
I didn't know
Yeah.
that, but yeah, I've been
Yeah.
kind of everything that I've found, like jobs wise, that I've been applying for has been based in London. So I'm kind of like I'm more than happy to be based in London if I can find work, but it just wasn't
Mm,
sustainable when I was there. But I also love Manchester, so that's great as well.
cool. Anya, should we just go? I knew we had Tofarati in here earlier, and then we have Simi and Eloise and Nemo. So if we just go through like the last few questions, then obviously we can go right into the event. That'll be all good.
Yeah. Would anyone
Okay.
wanna?
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. You can call
No,
me
no, no, it's
Topher.
okay.
You can just call
Topher.
me Topher. Yeah, if you don't want to say that. I mean,
Okay, that's all
I
good.
prefer Topher because I know
Okay,
Topher is a long name. Anyway, yeah,
cool.
sorry about that.
No, it's all good. Thanks for letting me know. So we'll start with you, I guess, Topher, in terms of yeah, just like how did you hear about Talk to Dan, where you're based, what's your field of media?
Yeah, and so I go to school at Ravensbourne University, and I'm second year. I just finished my second year, and I do television production. And I got a 2 week work experience in Fremantle, and that's when I heard about Talking Down. And yeah,
Oh, okay, cool. That's cool. That's good to hear. Anya, so if we go with one more person, 'cause obviously we're going to do a bit more of an icebreaker anyway, and then we can go into the event because we're looking at 2 more minutes when it's 7. So we'll start straight at 7.
Yeah, I'll pass it over to Simi. How did you get into the field of media and how did you hear about Talk to Dan?
Uh, I started with just going to like a film college, and then I heard about Talk to Dan through the Eric app. Yeah, and just like looking for work, and I found that along my way.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay. Cool. All right. Thanks everyone for sharing that. We just kind of wanted to kind of just understand the room, who's in the room, what your field of media is, where you're based, et cetera, et cetera. See, Annie will be coordinating the room. So as people come in, should admit people, and we'll obviously get the session started at 7. In terms of what you can expect from today, I'm about to share my screen so you can see exactly what we're looking at. So just give me a second. I've got two screens here, so just making sure everything's all in the right place. Okay, so basically what you can expect today in terms of basically the rundown is please don't get distracted by the GIFs. I think I put too many in here, to be fair, in the session. But basically, we've just done a bit of icebreaker. I'm going to do a bit more of an icebreaker. We're going to discuss the live briefs that you could expect at the event, and actually past live briefs that we have had during the past years. We've done Talk Time for Media Jobs. There's going to be some networking key questions to run through. So we're going to get into breakout rooms to connect with others. But also, these key questions can be used on employers. And it's something that we want you to understand how to follow up with employers as well, which is really, really important. And then the Q&A and wrap up. But basically, this is your chance to kind of just ask us anything about the event, any questions or anything that you might have in regards to basically, Talk Time for Media Jobs, what you can expect in the event, post-event. Myself and Anya are basically open to those questions. So, yeah. Does that all sound good to everyone? All good. If I get a thumbs up in the chat, I'm not even too sure I can even use the thumbs up actually. So I'm still learning that. Thumbs up in the chat or just a thumbs up anyway, in general, that'd be good. So cool. We're gonna start the session. And in regards to just obviously this being a pre-network event, see normally we run this in person. So again, we want to be able to let everyone connect and be able to be with each other. So one big thing is obviously, please feel free to turn your cameras on, to connect, to network. Obviously, you're going to go into breakout rooms at some point, but obviously it's completely down to you. But obviously, we want to make this as inclusive and as interactive as possible. So yeah, cool. Okay, so let's talk about Talk Time for Media Jobs. First, what I'm showing you is our diversity inclusion poster. You're going to see this at the actual event, where basically we've had marketing abbreviate what Talk to That means in regards to. Oh, I feel like I'm echoing there. Yeah, I just had a bit of echo. Sorry, people. Yeah, so just basically diversity inclusion, what it stands for, abbreviating it, and from top to bottom, just understanding exactly what it all means. In regards to your personal views and ideas when it comes to connect to each other, being kind to everyone, being true to yourself, accepting people, and we have different walks of life coming into the room. So this is something that we're really big on when it comes to expressing yourself and being in the room, especially when it comes to creating content and working with each other. So this is something that you'll see at our actual event. Cool. So obviously we've done like a little icebreaker in terms of like, what's your field of media and how do you hope about Talk to Them. But what we want to do is kind of dig a bit more deeper and actually just get to know you a bit more on a personal level. This is what would obviously happen if you're actually at the event in person. So we just want you all to kind of just just have a little think, jot down some answers to this icebreaker wherever you are, be in a coffee shop, could be at home, whatever. And then what will happen, I will start first. Anya will take lead on going with her icebreaker, and then Anya will start choosing a few volunteers in regards to this icebreaker. It'll be interesting to see obviously what everyone has to get. Does that all make sense to everyone? Just to get a thumbs up in the chat or just on screen, that'll be great. Give you a couple of minutes to do that and then take it from there. Quite intrigued to see what gets on everyone's nerves. But this is always the interesting one when it gets to that. Okay, as everyone's sort of still obviously jotting down and getting the icebreaker, so I'm going to start first. Still feel free to get involved in the icebreaker, and then I'm going to pass over to Anya, and then I will, and then basically Anya will choose a few volunteers in regards to this icebreaker. All right. So cool. So in terms of from what am I good at? I believe I'm pretty good at creating ideas. I put pen to paper, and kind of like making the idea come to life. That could be anything from creating a short film to thinking of a new content to create, or even if it's something to solve a problem in a sense. What I hope to get out of the session, ideally, everyone that's in here and everyone that comes to the actual event is looking at your pain points. So basically, there could be things that you might be struggling with. That could be building your confidence, the network element of things, being able to understand what the TV industry is like, the film industry is like, knowing what to expect. So kind of helping you kind of navigate that. What gets on my nerves, I'm not a big fan of packaging. So basically, and it's funny because I've got a big package coming for all the printing material. So whenever packaging comes home, I'm one of them people that gets a knife and just ruins the whole box, so you can't reuse the box. I'm one of them people, yeah. And I'm a bit weird. I just hate packaging in general. Name a hobby. I like jogging, and I'm big on like I do a bit of yoga as well. Some big on like calisthenics as well. And a random fact about me, I actually own a saxophone, so do know how to play. I want to get back into it. But that's as very random as you're gonna get. People are like, you can start playing on Zoom, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna start. Everyone's gonna be deaf after, so I don't think I'll do that just yet. But that's a bit about me. I'll pass over to Anya, and then obviously Anya will choose a few volunteers.
So, something that I'm good at, which a lot of people tend to be
I think you're
surprised
muted,
at.
Anya. I can't hear you, actually.
Oh, hello.
I can't hear you now.
Can you hear me
Can
now?
everyone hear her? Or
I can hear
okay,
her.
maybe it's
I
just
can
me.
hear.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Go on,
Hear
Anya.
me? Can everyone hear me okay?
It's just me. It's
Yeah.
just me. Don't worry,
Yeah.
it's just me.
Okay. Yeah, so something that I'm good at, surprisingly, is poetry. I like poetry. It frees the mind. Sometimes when I'm agitated, some people journal. I do poetry, have a little journal with all my poems in them. Um, what I hope to get out of this session as someone that's still an upcoming freelancer that's still trying to get into the media industry would be good to network with everyone, see what different industries people want to get into and see why people want to get into media. That's something I'm really looking forward to. And something that gets on my nerves, I've heard a couple of people say this before, but when you're in a rush and you're on the bus and then the bus wants to stop at every stop, or people take long to get on and people take long to get off. But when you have all the time in the world, the bus wants to pass like 5 bus stops. That's a big pet peeve of mine. And then a random fact is I actually have loads of tattoos. I have 16 tattoos. So I'm planning on learning how to start tattooing. I'm currently in the works of learning how to do tattoos. So yeah, that's one random fact about me. I'll now pass it on to someone else. So I'll pass it over to Hannah.
Hi. Sorry, my camera's like acting up, so I'm struggling with that. But for my thumb, like what am I good at? I'd say organizing. Like I'm quite like OCD about things and like um creative like ideation. So I guess those two are like I guess the things that I'm good at. With the index, so what do I hope to get out of this session? So more insight, I guess, to kind of get into the industry and kind of understand like where is it that I've gone wrong or what else can I improve on upon myself. Um, or like what gets on my nerves. I think I'm still thinking about it. I think it's mainly slow walkers. So when you're just
Same.
kind of like in a rush and then they make you miss your like train again, something like that. And it's just like really irritating. So it's like a tick for me. A hobby of mine, I'd say gaming. So I do really enjoy playing Pokemon right now. Pokemon Go. It's a great game. And then a random fact about me, I enjoy photography. I'm not sure. Yeah.
It's really cool. I actually did photography GCSE.
Oh, no way. That's so cool.
Uh, yeah, so now I will pass it over to Luke for something you're good at.
Sorry, can you hear me all right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool. I'd say I'm a good storyteller, like regardless of the medium, like in terms of my creative work tends to explore different mediums, but I just like storytelling in general. So from start to end, whatever medium that comes in. What do I hope to get out of this session? I guess, yeah, insight more than anything, and just to connect with people, just yeah, be in that headspace and kind of get excited for the event as well. So yeah, what gets on my nerves? Generally, I'm quite a patient person. Not much gets on my nerves, but when it does, I'll let you know. But generally, I'm pretty calm. Hobbies. I'm into like fitness and sport, and football. I'm an Arsenal fan, so it's been like 20 years of misery. But we hope that things will change.
I'm United
And
for this, so obviously, it's
oh
not
yeah,
anything
right
great.
in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. Um, a random fact about me: I'm dyslexic and dyspraxic, and I think yeah, like I went through most of my life without a diagnosis, and then when I went to uni, I found out, and I think in a way, getting that diagnosis kind of hindered me in my creative like process because you make excuses of why you can't do things a lot of the time. So I'm trying to get out of that.
Yeah, that's like me. I that's like me and ADHD, which I recently discovered. And at first I was like, everyone would be like, "Oh my God, you're so talkative, you're so this, you're so that." And I used to be like, and then the minute I realized, or the minute I got told that that was the case, it's very refreshing because it's like everything kind of makes sense and you don't really like put much blame on you. And it's just like you more accept it. So yeah. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, so I will now hand it over to Amar. What is your five-finger icebreaker?
Hiya. So, something I'd say I'm quite good at is languages. I've like lived abroad in different places, so I've learned a few different languages through that and through being at uni. One thing I hope to get out the session is just to kind of meet people. I always find it interesting to see where other people are going and always find that quite inspiring and just kind of learn what I can get out from the event and yeah, just learn new things. One thing that gets on my nerves, it's really random, but like I hate food waste. So people who like don't like leftovers or don't keep leftovers, that's something that gets on my nerves when people like throw away food. Um, One of my main hobbies is Pilates and bar. That's something that I love and do as much as I can. And a random fact about me is I just spent a semester in Barcelona and I now speak Catalan, which is the regional language. It's a bit random, but yeah, not many people speak it even within the country of Spain, but that's my random fact.
I was actually born there.
Really?
Yeah, I've literally just come back from there like last week. Yeah.
Oh wow, that's so fun.
But yeah, thank you for sharing. What would you say is how many languages have you learned?
So I speak English and Punjabi because my family is Punjabi. I also speak French and Spanish and now Catalan as well. And I did 2 years of Mandarin at uni so far as an elective, but I'm not very good.
Still impressive though.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I'll pass it over to one more person. Let's do Sandra.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Let me turn on. So I was just having a late dinner, that's why I was having my camera off. Let's see. So it's a bit tricky now to answer these questions because we saw many of them. I was like, oh, I'm the same. So now I'm just thinking, what can I say that's a bit different? So let's see. Something that I'm good at, I think I'll say finding opportunities, like whether it's meeting people, work opportunities, workshops, or any opportunities in general. What do I hope to get out of this session? I believe just to get an idea of what to expect for the in-person meeting, just because I've been to quite a few networking events and all of them have been quite different. So if I get the chance to get an idea of what to expect, I find it really useful, like both in terms of people, but in general, how it's going to be, just because I'm kind of an introvert. So the more I know before going in there, the better it is for me. What gets on my nerves? This one is going to be a funny one, especially when I was thinking of what some of you said, such as Dan, when you said about packing. For me, I'll say, especially if I clean, if someone is coming with their shoes on, we're going to have a problem. So that's going to be definitely something that gets on my nerves. A hobby, I have quite a few. I could say possibly a funny one that I have is looking at adoption centers, because one of my future goals is to at some point be able to adopt 1 or 2 cats, maybe 3, but I'll see depending on how it goes. So I just like to, whenever I need a bit of motivation, to have a look. And around the fact about you, I think I'm going to mention neurodivergence, because I also heard quite a few chat about that, which is also something that I discovered like 3 years ago, and it's still something that I'm exploring, but yeah, it's quite an interesting thing to learn about. But yeah, and that's about me.
Oh, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, thanks, guys, for getting involved in that. That really helps. And of course, some of you may have written it down, where you are, and yeah, it's great to just get involved in that sort of theory. So, I'm gonna move on into obviously what you can expect. So obviously meet the team. Anya's obviously part of marketing. So she'll work across events or just general things such as like even our in-person shoots we do, walk and talk to Dan, perhaps if you know about that. Just general design work, or if it's just being able to communicate to an audience, if that's young people, our partners. And this is Nicole, who you'll meet on the day, who's our comms team leader. So we have more of our team in terms of marketing and comms. So you'll meet a lot more, which is very generally a very young team from all walks of life. So, you can rest assured it feels very relatable in terms of when you walk into the room, in terms of who you're going to see in terms of the team. Oh, so obviously when the event's going to take place next week, Wednesday, it's really, really coming soon. We're excited for it. We hope you are as well. We're going to kind of show you exactly what you can expect in regards to the event. And what the event's actually all about is bridging the gap between employers and young creatives. Place, Fremantle. So this is just basically closest station's Tottenham Court Road. And what you can see that picture, hopefully you can see it as much as I can see it, is how the event looks like. So this is sort of a theatre style, we'll show the show reels and different things that the company do. And then we're going to get into different groups after and work collectively with our young creatives in regards to that. And then we're actually going to get on that stage there, do a Q&A with media partners. And then also at the end, we're going to do a special guest Q&A with one of the production, say UK. Cool. So I'm trying to go back to 2022 when we started. So this is just very, very brief stuff showing you how it all started and how it all birthed. So who's with me there in this picture here is Finn, who's the owner of Camden Open Air Gallery. This is where Talksound Media was actually birthed. And this is some of the companies that we had at that actual event. We had actually 10 media partners that day. So it was a very busy one, very hot day, and very appreciative of obviously all the young people that came down. But you can kind of see the companies that we work with and the companies that have been to these events, and some of our partners as well. So you have BBC Sport, your Roundhouse, your Sony Music, etc., so on. Then the year after that, we moved to Fremantle, which is the home of Talksound Media Jobs in London. And you can kind of see how some of the young people here are connecting with each other and working collectively on the live briefs, which I'm going to show you in a second. So partners were Sony Music again, we had TPX Impact, Alpha PR. So if you're into PR, we had really cool, sort of people got to work on like a marketing campaign, which is really, really cool. Then we had some TV companies there as well. And then last year we're at Fremantle and we had Fremantle labels. So such as Talkback Thames, Label One, Minnow Films and Reach Productions. So you can kind of see, this is what you could kind of expect in regards to what you're seeing here, the little hubs that you're working with the media partners. And you can kind of see just behind here in this picture here is basically where you'll be able to see the actual live brief and scan that QR code and work on the QR codes, work on the live briefs, I should say. And they will be also be printed out as well, just a few copies, so you can kind of see what the live brief's all about. Is it all making sense to everyone so far in terms of what to expect and what it is? Okay, cool. All right, so this is just an example. So obviously you're going to kind of see how we've sort of developed over the years. So this is Matthew Baxter, who worked at BBC Sport, and this was one of basically this was his brief that he put together in regards to BBC Sport. Wimbledon coming up this month, what content would you like to produce for BBC Sport Instagram account to attract a young audience? And it was really a cool brief, something that obviously a lot of young people got involved in, right? So I guess it's obviously it's like if we were to ask you like for a one line on the brief, I want to pass over to Anya to kind of like just sort of like just talk about what that one liner could be. So if Anya, I'll pass over to you so you can kind of like just talk to the attendees just about thinking about if they want to think about a one liner of this, what would it look like?
So I would say for a one-liner, it would have to be something that's pretty straight to the point, but also engages attention, which I think is pretty easy, especially if it's for a young demographic. I think a lot of us spend a lot of time on social media, and especially where, yes, I would say something short, something that also engages attention. Um, so yeah, so what you guys could do, some people could put some one-liners in the chat, or if anyone wants to say any out loud, you could put your thumbs up and I'll pick people at random.
This is so that we get you sort of just to kind of have a feel of what it's like. I'm not saying go away and do the full brief. It's just basically like what will come to mind when it comes to seeing this brief. Like what would you think? Okay, actually, you know, guys, this could be done. So feel free to use the chat box, or feel free to raise your hand and then we can come to you and just discuss that really briefly. We'll move on to the next briefs as well. Does that all make sense to everyone? Just making sure. Yeah, everyone's clear. Cool. Okay.
If it helps, a good one-liner, because it's for a younger audience, something that has a bit of banter in it, especially since it's Instagram and Instagram isn't the most serious app, but where it is also a sports Instagram account, something fun just to get people engaged and to just look at the post a bit more. So Alina said maybe or a this or that rule with the players. Yeah, so I've actually recently found out that a lot of social media apps are actually encouraging people to do reel, and when you do a reel, it actually catches more attention than a normal post. So a reel would actually be a really good idea. Um, Nemo said teaming up with young UK influencers who are well known to the audience, like Chunks and Nella Rose. I think that's also a good idea. I remember Chunks and a couple other YouTubers did a football match. I don't watch much football, so I'm not sure if I'm correct, but I remember they did a football match and loads of people attended. So that would be good. Nella Rose would be good as well.
Yeah, so it's good to see like how you all are coming up with these ideas. And again, this is how it kind of starts, and then the actual idea spans out and becomes what it becomes in terms of like putting together an actual idea for the brief. So that's the BBC Sport brief. And we're going to show you something from Sony Music to move on to that next bit. This is Sony Music now. Basically, in regards to what you're seeing here, just basically Sony Music, we're looking at how if you were to work for artists, now we can talk about what different artists or people you listen to, let's say you had no access to them. So I'm just going to name some artists. Let's say Nate Smalls, Emma Huncho, Gigs, Dave, etc. Just putting people out there. Central C, Nines, even though obviously he's retired now in a sense. I've mentioned all UK artists, but it can be anyone. But if you had access to none of these artists, or an artist that you like to listen to, how would you interact with them in regards to a new release? So you have no social media, you have well, actually, sorry, you haven't got access to them, so you can actually use different platforms such as like marketing, promotions, or even live. But how would you, sort of push out their new release? How would you do that? So again, it's just having a little think about this and then kind of like a one-liner, which is a really good brief last year. I should say 2 years ago, should I say. But it was a really good discussion. This is Charlotte from Sony, and she's obviously discussing with young people about the brief. So again, as Anya mentioned for the last one, feel free to put like a one-liner in the chat, or again, we can go around the room and discuss this in detail. It might be good actually when Anya selects a volunteer, I'd say maybe it'd be good
Yeah.
to kind of go off an artist that you listen to. So maybe someone you're thinking about, actually, if I have no access to this person, how would I actually push out their music, for example, which might make it a bit more easier for you in a sense to kind of push out. Okay, so we've got some stuff in the chat.
So collaborate with other artists are inspired by that artist, e.g. when Sony collaborated with Justin Timberlake or Michael Jackson. That's a good one. Yeah.
Okay,
Collaborations tend to get a lot of attention as well.
cool.
Simi said Sade was trending on TikTok last summer and everyone was making posts about her aesthetic. So I'd have her partner with a jewelry or clothing brand. Yeah, a lot of people randomly will blow on TikTok, especially if they haven't posted music for a while. So yeah, that would be good as well.
I've mentioned maybe organizing giveaways for pre-sale purchasers, behind the scenes videos of the production team. Okay, reach out to creators on platforms like TikTok to use and promote the song. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, the giveaways element is good because
Yeah.
it kind of pushes the whole thing of something's coming, or like, be prepared for XYZ, or you could meet this person or the artist, or someone that's associated with the artist, etc. Or you win X holiday or you get to see artist show, etc. So yeah, that's a pretty decent one actually, to be fair, because
Yeah.
it's like an incentive actually. But yeah.
A meet and greet would be good as well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I guess that would kind of lie into the giveaway stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, you've got Desiree and Harriet in terms of what they've said.
Launch a short form video challenge on TikTok, Instagram using the new track. Yeah, what I've realized a lot of artists do is a lot of people will like make a dance with their song, or they'll do a lot of videos using their song, and then everyone ends up using that song and it ends up blowing up, especially with TikTok as well.
Okay, cool. So Desiree said, my artist would be the band Mary Jane Girls, and I'd re-release some of their music on vinyl. Okay, do a mini tour, getting the band back together as they were disbanded in '86, and the merch line, maybe makeup or clothing. Okay, cool. All right, that's interesting. Desiree, do you want to talk more about that? Because that's kind of like a different sort of thing, actually, in regards to releasing music on vinyl. Like some people, well, only certain artists do it, I think, but like it's quite interesting you say that, because obviously it's like it's a thing that everyone's just kind of like, oh, I've got Spotify, I've got music, I've got TikTok, I've got YouTube, I've got this, etc. So yeah.
I actually collect vinyls, so I'm kind of biased, and I could talk for hours about like the importance of physical media. But most of the Mary Jane Girls fans are probably like in their 50s now, so I feel like physical release would make more sense there. Maybe even on CD, but I'm not sure. But that's my reason why.
Okay, cool. And Harriet's mentioned new releases, a new era, and build intriguing around what that would look like for them. So even these music snippets. Okay, cool. Yeah, that could be quite interesting actually. Cool. So is it making sense so far to everyone in terms of like what our live briefs were? Well, this is like an example of what the live briefs were the past couple of years, and kind of like what you could sort of expect. We're going to show you the actual live briefs for the event anyway, but it's just kind of showing you like this is what has happened in the past before. This is what young people got involved in. And obviously you'll see it as, you know, design as opposed to when you get to scan it, etc. Sort of stuff. Everyone feel good about that? Yeah. Okay. And this is like just last year. So what you're seeing here, and just to kind of like wrap up the years before in terms of what we've worked on, this is what you're going to walk into. Basically, this is like a question about the live brief. You scan this QR code. And I believe actually if you scan this QR code, it actually goes to the last year's live brief for this. And it kind of just gives you a bit more information about the live brief, to what you can expect. So let's say you're interested in a series long format for Netflix, how it comes together. You'll scan that QR code and see what the live brief is actually about in terms of back a Fremantle label I've put together. All right. So this is what you expect, and how it's sort of visually engaging. So we're trying to or that, you know, you might go to like a careers fair and it's a lot of like papers and things like that. We want digital, so you get to scan a QR code and kind of get more involved in that in the digital. That makes sense. Okay, cool. So cool. So this is what I just want to show everyone first. So Nicole, who you saw on the slides earlier, has put together like an actual sort of split in terms of the groups. Now, some of you, well, all of you, I should say, would have received an actual Google Docs form, which kind of asked what company you would like to be in. Now, some of you filled it in, some of you may have not filled it in. Now, if you haven't filled it in, we've placed you in a company. Now, it might be a thing where you come to a event and be like, oh, dang, actually, I want to kind of be placed in this company, or I want to be moving to this company, for example. We can possibly accommodate that. It just depends on, obviously, like in terms of the people drop out, if there's a move, stuff like that. But it's just showing you exactly like where you may be. Now, if say you can't find your name on here, where your name should be on here, because we've done an alphabetical order anyway, as you can see, from Fremantle here, South Shore, and then Minnow. We just want you to just jot down the company that we placed you in, because we're actually going to show you all the company's live briefs and what they're about. So you can kind of just get a gist of like, you know, what it's all about and, you know, what you can expect. Does that all make sense to everyone in regards to, yeah, the companies and things like that? Yeah. And please just let us know if your name's actually not on there. And what we can then do is, yeah, hey, Hannah, your name's not in there. So can you just make a note, Anya, that So what it might be that you may have signed up a bit later and then we haven't put your name. So what we can do, Hannah and Maya, is when we actually go through the actual briefs, we can actually ask you what company you'd like to be placed, and then what Nicole can do is update it this week, and then at least you'll know that you'll be in Fremantle, South Shore, or Minnow, etc. That makes sense. Is there anyone else there? Their name's not on the list there. If you just, again, you might have signed up. Whatever you've put on Eventbrite is what we've put down. So, you know, if you've put like a shortened name or whatever that might be, for example. Sandra. Okay, yeah, you might have signed up a bit later. So, cool. Sandra, same thing. If you Anya, if you just put that down as well, then we can do that. So good. Okay, cool. All right, does that all make sense to everyone in terms of like the splits of the companies and stuff? So everyone put a thumbs up in the chat, and I can move on and show you sort of like the different live briefs. Yeah. Okay. Cool. And everyone sort of jotted down where they are. And if not, we can also come back to this and show you where you might be as we have it here. Okay, cool. So it's just 3 of you that are not in that short chat. So it's okay. All right, so let's talk to you about the companies that are attending. Now, first is Fremantle, we're holding the event. These are the sort of programs that they work on. And when it comes to Fremantle, they work on things like The Apprentice, Top Handle, Britain's Got Talent, sort of like reality and entertaining TV shows. When you scan this QR code, it goes to Fremantle. So you can scan it if you like, so you can get to know more about Fremantle. It goes right to their website, what they're about. What I'm going to show you is, you know, a bit about them, and then obviously then their live brief. And this is sort of like a, you know, a show and tell. So I'll pass on to Anya to kind of like, you know, again, when we talk about the live brief, sort of like her views on it, and then we can have a small discussion, I guess, in terms of it. We don't want you to actually do the live briefs on here because you're going to work collectively as a group on the day on the live brief, if that makes sense. So this is so basically Fremantle has a label called Naked. So Naked is the label. So when I actually spoke to all of you earlier, there was something called a Fremantle label. So there's Naked, there's Talkback Thames, you know, there's different labels. So different labels make different shows, if that makes sense. So what you're seeing here is Naked is the label, and they create these sort of shows: The Rap Game, Grand Designs, etc. So if you're into like sort of reality, things like this is basically where you'd want to be in regards to factual entertainment and sort of lifestyle content, etc. So this is what Naked is all about. So just to show you what basically Fremantle will be putting together in terms of their live brief, this is what the actual live brief is all about. They want you to think about a distinctive reality format, right? So attached into like human relationships, could be community, could be friendships, families, etc. These sort of things, and what unique twists what's the unique twist that makes your format unforgettable and stand out? So there's lots of formats out there, obviously. As I've shown you earlier, Too Hot to Handle, you know, even like Love Island, etc. Different things that, like a game show, you know, things that obviously people watch, content that people watch that, you know, that is quite distinctive and different, you know. So maybe it's kind of like, there's actually something I'm watching on Netflix. It's called Sneaky Links. It's really interesting. But again, that's a distinctive reality format that basically, you know, ideally, people can, you know, sort of like think about what is the next sort of like what's the narrative, what's the next step that's going to happen in regards to like the storyline, essentially. Like Luke, you're talking about creating a story and a narrative. What does that look like in regards to a distinctive reality format? So yeah, I'm going to pass on to Anya, and I guess obviously just kind of like sort of like just to add your bit. And if anyone wants to add anything to this, and anyone has any questions about this live brief, then that's all good.
Yeah, so one idea that I think would be really good if someone did a show that's basically called something like Life Outside the Posts, which is basically life outside the post of influencers. So even though they're posting, what's life outside of that? And I think that would be really good, especially in this day and age where a lot of young people seem to believe everything they see on social media, and they'll see one thing and think that's the life they're living. But I think a show like that would really make people realize that people will show you what they want you to believe, and people will show you what they want you to think their life really is. So I think a show like that would really especially help the younger generation. So I think that would be a really good show.
Cool. So
Um
Anna's just so Anna, I guess, is just kind of showcasing and explaining sort of like that could be like your just like the one line or the idea, and then how you elaborate that. How does that look like? How does it make it unforgettable and stand out, etc. So does that sort of make sense to everyone in that sense? Has anyone got anything to add to that, or Anya, you wanted to kind of add a bit more? Sorry.
yeah, I would say the reason why that stands out is more because yeah, like I was saying before, I think especially a lot of, well, young people in general, they seem to be and under a lot of pressure. And I think a lot of that pressure stems from what they see on social media. But I don't think people realize that social media is more of an image. And I think it'll be really good for it. I would like it for it to expand if they showed it in schools as well, in like lessons and assemblies, just to, help the younger generation and take a lot of pressure off them, thinking that they have to make £1 million by tomorrow, because that is not the case
Yeah.
in this cost of living. So yeah, I think that would be really good. So yeah, that's basically what these life briefs would be like. Does anyone have any one-liners that they could share?
Or even any like questions about this live brief, especially if you're kind of this is where you'll be. Any questions that you might have about that short general live brief. Feel free to comment in the chat or put your hands up. If everyone feels fine about that and you've kind of jotted down, then we can all move on to the next one to show you what you can expect in the other ones. Yeah, everyone's all right? Okay, all right, so to the next one. So the next company is Minnow Films. Minnow Films do documentaries, drama, but films, feature, etc. So they have done like Stacey Dooley's DNA Family Secrets, Jerry Springer Facts Camera Actions. This is the kind of like collating all of stuff that happened on Jerry Springer's show, and actually like the behind the scenes, how they actually created it, the actual creators as well, in regards to like what you don't see. So kind of actually what Anya was talking about, kind of like the whole influencer world, like what you actually don't see. So as much as you might watch a Love Island, you might watch a television program. Like we had actually Ellen from Love Island last year come on to our event. It's like what you don't see on screen, because we only see an hour of the show. So there's a lot, the other, all the other hours in the day is like, oh, what actually happens during when they're like not on screen. So yeah, this is obviously what Minnow Films is all about. And this is they're all about groundbreaking documentaries and drama, all about creating content that kind of moves people, builds emotions and stuff. And big thing about Minnow, they're always about creating content that can leave like a lasting effect on you, in regards to the film element of things. This is basically what Minnow's live brief is all about. I'm just going to show you here. This is what you can expect to see. So there's quite a lot of information here, but in a nutshell, if anyone has watched SAS Who Dare Wins, so obviously that's all about, different challenges, and you go out in the wilderness or, challenge yourself, and there's celebrity SAS. You might have seen that, where you might have to be in water. I can't swim, so I'm definitely not going to be part of that. But obviously it's about challenging yourself and being able to do certain tasks that puts you in, I guess, very in a place where you're quite uncomfortable. So kind of coming out of your comfort zone. They're looking for what's the next big survival series. So if you were to actually create like a TV show, what could be that next big survival series? And again, it's about what would push the genre forward, how you're going to catch people's imaginations, keep the audience kind of watching. One idea actually that I had when I was speaking to Anya recently was like, think about locations. So like if you're thinking, some of you are from London here, some of you outside London, but if I was thinking of a location, a set in terms of big survival series, I'd think about Trafalgar Square. just because of you can actually create that as a set and you can make it into something and kind of like think about how you can make it like an immersive experience, so certain sets. So for example, if anyone's watched The Repair Shop, The Repair Shop actually is a barn, which is actually in Brighton. So actually they dress it up in Brighton as a barn, like in actually it's where it's shot. So basically it's really thinking about like, what is the survival twist? What is it that you'd want to think about? So I guess, Anya, what you could do actually is actually go around the room, actually get a volunteer to like, okay, what's sort of like your take on this? You know, in regards to like the Minnow Films brief.
Yeah. So let's pick some people. Frida, do you have anything you'd like to share on this?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
So I don't really watch survival shows, but I did like the idea of like using London as like a survival set. Mainly because like sometimes like I know New York is like the concrete jungle, but like I'm not sure if you've ever like just stood in Piccadilly Circus. It's just really like what's
Mm,
it called? Overstimulating. So I
Yeah.
don't know, something with that, but I'm sorry, I'm trying to think on the spot, like yeah, I like the London
yeah.
set and just like trying to survive in London. Um, I'm just not too sure what I would do with that. Sorry.
Okay. I
Awesome.
was actually what one idea that I had, just to give everyone some inspo if you guys want to take anything from this. I was actually thinking something like the show SAS, but they're put so SAS mix of I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, but combined, but you're by yourself. So it's like they train you like the SAS show, and then after a week of training, they basically leave you to it by yourself to survive in the jungle. And it's basically whoever's the last one to say, I'm a celebrity, get me out of here, would basically be the winner, but it would be like an actual jungle. But you have first aiders everywhere. But I think that would be quite, especially for celebrities, that would be quite a good watch. Um, yeah, so I'll pass it on to the next person. Uh, Simi. Oh, hello? Oh, yeah.
Hi. Sorry. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Sorry, my AirPods are falling out.
I don't really watch a lot of survival shows, but I do like physical competitions like The Challenge or like Ninja Warrior. So I would say just have like all those elaborate like setups and have these like random people have to jump through hoops and do like backflips and stuff and just see how they survive.
Cool. I will now pass it over to Denero, if I pronounced your name properly. Sorry if I didn't.
I'm just gonna mute you actually. Yeah,
Hello?
there we go.
Can you? Oh,
Yeah, we can hear you now. Yeah.
okay. I was thinking like maybe like different, like six strangers from like different social classes, and then like they have to like kind of rough it out in a remote environment. They don't have
Mhm.
like currency or anything, and they have to kind of like build a community where it's like survival of the fittest, but from different parts of society.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's cool. I like that.
that would be good.
That's,
Yeah, that would be good. That
mm,
would show like how like every like different people's society, like their true perspective of life. And I think it would really show then. So that would be good. Yeah. Um,
yeah, so
then I
Frida's just raised her hand. So if we just head over to her and then I'll move on to the next brief in a second. That's all. Yeah.
yeah.
Frida, you
I
just
was
yeah.
I was just thinking about like the whole city thing, like just what De Niro said. Like I was wondering if like dropping people in a different city, like a really like for example, dropping people in the middle of Rio or a country that they just don't know of, and then to another side of the country without the currency thing. I kind of just stole your whole like they don't have the money thing. So they don't know the just don't know the money, don't know how to get the money, just that kind of figure it out. Yeah, in like a really hyper active city, essentially.
Hmm. Sandra, you've raised your hand as well. Now that sounds really good, Frida. I think that's quite interesting because a lot of people never think for themselves to actually be in that situation. So obviously once they're there, like, oh, I've actually got to now think on my feet and understand how to actually survive, if it's a day or two in the country. So yeah, Sandra, just going over to you and then we'll head into the next brief.
Oh, sorry, I was just thinking of something. I was curious, would something like VFX be considered for this, or would it be more simple?
Yeah, I mean, if you consider VFX, I would say what could that look like, like in terms of that production side of things. So you're more even thinking of like the way the content's going to be produced and the way it might be how it will be visualized on screen. So that will be because you're still obviously going to have to come up with the narrative in that sense. So the VFX side is like you're talking about the post-production and how people take in the story or what's on screen. So yeah, that could still be something, yeah.
So I was just curious, since I haven't watched many survival films or series, but I've been playing quite a few survival games, and I can think how those could be translated, especially nowadays, taking games into movies is quite a thing. Because, for example,
Yeah.
something that I've been playing recently would be Palworld, which is exactly like you have to survive the wilds along with your pals, which are
Okay.
similar to Pokemon. So it would be funny to kind of have this thing of, okay, you have to make friends with pals and survive the wilderness along them and, keep them happy and keep yourself alive, if it makes sense. That was just something that I was thinking of.
Okay, cool. No, it makes sense. No, definitely. Cool. So is everyone sort of understanding exactly like what you could expect and sort of we're just kind of going through this to kind of have a feel of like, just to be in that sort of element of briefs and kind of understanding what you can see from the event. All good, everyone? Yeah. Okay, and last but not least is South Shore, is our new media partners. So South Shore, they do non-scripted content. So in terms of the brief that I'm going to show you, it's very human interest, sort of focused on a public figure, looking at how you can actually bring in someone and showcase kind of their experiences and actually in terms of what they do, like Sam Thompson, if you may know of him, obviously he done Love Island in terms of he was on like Love Island After Sun, so on the commentary. Flintoff obviously being ex-cricket player, and obviously survived the accident as well. So again, these are like real life human stories and kind of like tapping into different abilities, people's stories, and just day to days really. So I'm going to show you exactly what South is all about, and all about putting together content that is all about inclusion, diversity. They're really big on that, and I think the live brief kind of shows that when you see exactly what they're looking for. On to the next slide. And they are based actually in London and Cardiff, so they've got offices there. And just in regards to like what they do on screen and off screen, it's all about kind of ensuring that what you see on screen is a personal connection. You feel like you're part of the conversation. So in terms of South Shore, this is what their live brief looks like. So basically, the live brief is all about the next docu series, to say that properly, documentary series basically. And thinking about if you have a next series, can't even say the word actually, in terms of human interest elements or someone's emotion, their journey, highlighting their highs and lows. What could that look like on a 6-part docu-series? And we want you to think about 2 separate public figures. So I guess go around like the network end of things, and you can choose a few volunteers here just to think about, first of all, who would you actually do a docu-series on and why? Just kind of like just discuss. Haven't really got to go into too much, but kind of just getting a gist of like, and you can kind of tap into that element there. So
Yeah, so I'll start it off. So I was actually thinking DJ AJ, is it DJ AJ, the one
yeah,
that's
AJ,
yeah, I think that'd be really
AG online, you mean? AG,
yeah,
yeah.
DJ AG online. Yeah, I think he'll be a
Yeah.
good one. because when he was first doing it, he was by himself, like literally in the middle of nowhere, a big DJ set, everyone was looking at him funny, walking past at him. Even the comments, people were saying why are you doing it? And then more and more people started coming in, and he's literally just done Burna Boy the other day, which is a really big artist. So I think it would be good if like they had one episode showing like how he started, and like another episode basically running through like how he even gets these celebrities on there in the first place, especially people like Burna Boy and other artists that he's done. I think that would be good because it would motivate people just to show like you're gonna start off somewhere, like just keep on going and you will get there. So yeah, I think that would be a good one. Yeah, so I'm gonna pass it on to someone else, but if anyone has any ideas, you're more than welcome to put it in the chat as well. So I will pass it on to Amar.
Hi, yeah, DJ AG. I've been like obsessed with those videos at the moment, so that's definitely a really good idea. So for a 6-part document series focusing on 2 separate public figures. Another one that I was thinking of that would be good is to maybe I can't think of an example in my mind right now, but maybe like maybe some sort of travel influencer, because I feel like a lot of the travel shows at the moment, they're generally geared towards an older demographic. Like nothing comes to mind really that appeals to young travel. And I think maybe getting some kind of talent that's involved in that space and maybe making travel content that appeals to like a younger demographic, and maybe kind of the challenges and points of interest that they would be more interested in seeing in a travel documentary could be interesting. Or maybe kind of something that speaks to their kind of economic position or the challenges that they see in traveling, or just what they would want to know. But off the top of my head, I can't think of anyone, but maybe something that kind of fits that niche.
Yeah, no, that's a good one. That's a good one. I do like that one. I think a lot of younger kids nowadays are starting to be more interested in traveling. So I do think that's a good one. I will pass it on to Luke.
Yeah, from the top of my head, maybe like, I don't know, like a 6-part series on like Jules Holland over the years. I feel like in terms of like his diverse knowledge of music, it'd be good to like have a look back at some of like the earliest performance he's done, and like he could select like a few of his favorite ones and kind of do like a go back in time, like a collection of all of these things, just so like people understand like his journey of how he's got to where he is, and like the deep knowledge he has, and some of the acts he's obviously had on his show that aren't with us anymore. I think it'd be quite interesting.
Yeah, no, thanks for sharing. No, I think yeah, Jules Holland would get kind of cool actually. Again, I just had to like just put in I had to put the face to it, and I was like, oh yeah, Jules Holland, of course, yeah. No, I think yeah, he'll be quite interesting, especially with who South Shore work with. I think it's definitely going down the right path if you're going for like more I guess the older demographic as well. So if it's older or young demographic, etc. But yeah, I think that could be quite cool, because you'll get a lot of his personality in it, and people feel they can relate more to him as well in that sense. Power couples, past and present. Documentaries on the chicken shop dates. Okay, cool, interesting. Just seen that now. Okay, that's interesting. Cool. All right. So Annie, should we wrap up there and get into the next bit of like networking and stuff?
Yeah.
So how does everyone feel about the actual live briefs? Like it feels like you feel like you can explain it properly, and it feels like you know exactly what you can expect, and happy to kind of, if you have any questions on it, we can kind of tap into it. Everyone feels all good. Just double checking. Yeah. Okay, cool. All right. So cool. I'm gonna move on to the next, which is networking. What you can see here is Nicole, who has put together like a mood board. And I'm very, very sure there are some points, or some pain points, I should say, that some of us go through in here. Now, why I started talk to personal experience, and what you're seeing on the screen is the pain points I went through when starting out in the industry, especially when it comes to networking, which we're going to go through today. So we're going to get rooms very, very soon, to kind of work together in groups and to kind of network with each other. We're going to give questions. So actually what we're going to actually do is put the 4 questions in the chat. Really like use. Yeah, Nicole was very creative with it. Kind of gave her like a brief and she kind of put it all. But yeah, we're gonna get you into breakout rooms, be able to connect. We're gonna show you the questions first, then get you to breakout rooms, get you to connect to each other. Come back, we're gonna kind of understand each other, how you can use that networking Q&A at that short event, and how you can also follow up as well, which is really the important bit. Cool. So the first networking question, and you can write this down, and you could just jot these down in the chat so that in the chat box, so that you can have a copy of when they go into the breakout room. What does a typical day look like for you? So what's really important here is kind of one select a volunteer. Think, why do you think this is a question that we can ask someone? So Harry, I'm going to come to you. And yeah, as Anya puts the question in the chat, just kind of like, why do you think this is the question that we should ask? Oh, okay.
I feel like
Can everyone hear me? Can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'm just going to do
You're cutting out a little bit, but
yeah,
it's mostly okay.
It's wireless. Sorry about that. But yeah, what I want to be able to do is yeah, just kind of why do you think we choosing this question ideally?
I think it's just really interesting to get to hear about what other people who are interested in the same field you are, what they're doing on a daily basis, and then you can kind of take inspiration from that and relate to them and just share the experience of being in that kind of industry.
Yeah, definitely. And from that you can kind of look at and pick up things that you hear from them, and then kind of like think about, okay, what's the next how can we work together ideally in that sense? Cool. So that's the first question that everyone's gonna talk about in the breakout room when I get into breakout rooms to connect. So I just put that in there. So feel free to save that. What does a typical day look like for you? The next question is, what do you enjoy most about what you do? So that's a key question, and sort of I don't want to give away the answer, but I'll come over to Topher. I'm going to come to you in terms of why do you think we've mentioned this question here? So we've got, what does a typical day look like for you? What do you enjoy most about what you do? So why do you think that's a question?
I think about what I enjoy most about what I do is like creating something new, like something that wasn't there before, and now it's like you made it, and so it's just like the building of something new. I think I like that. That's what I enjoy most about it. It's the finished work.
Cool. Yeah, and this is a question again that you'll be able to ask other creators in here to understand them. So when you're going to go in the breakout room, it's about listening into the other person, understand what they enjoy most about what they do, because this is what networking is about, is how you connect with them, and then obviously being able to, oh, you said you enjoy when you do editing, you like, the intricate details and the alignment and the typography and all this sort of stuff and creating titles, etc. So really listening into what people are saying is really key here. The next bit is, how did you get into your field of media? Now, what that basically is really is what spurred you on, where did the interest come from? Where did it spur from? So perhaps if someone here is into music, perhaps you went to a festival and you followed a musical artist, and you're kind of like, oh, one day I want to kind of get into that sort of stuff. But you are like, you're not too sure what you want to do, but you liked how everything was set up. So perhaps you wanted to get into events promotion or something like this, for example. Last but not least, I'm going to just ask someone. So Maya, I'm going to come to you. So Anya, again, put that third question in there in the chat, but just come to you in terms of why do you think we've kind of ended on this question? Any idea?
I suppose maybe if you have anything you could add to their project or help collaborate on, it's a good thing to kind of offer your skills and work together on projects, especially when you're like yeah, looking to network and looking to find new work kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, of course, yeah, definitely. And again, this kind of ties up the whole thing of now going to get the LinkedIn or grabbing a coffee in the future or working on something that you might have in mind for the future or just discussing different ideas that might spark to life there and then in the conversation. So just want to go back one. And again, Anya's put down all those questions in the chat. So actually just gonna leave in this question. Have you got any time projects coming up? Yes. Or is there anything that you might want to work in the future? So the 4 questions are in there, right? That Anya's put in the chat. So what we're gonna do now, we're gonna get into breakout rooms, split you guys together. So we're gonna have you in the breakout rooms for about 10 minutes or so, a bit less, get you to kind of connect with each other. And then we're going to come back from the breakout room and get you to, talk about what did you find out about the other person. So we just kind of like go through, the questions with each other, kind of get to know each other, and kind of really talk about these things because this will get you in a good practice when you're actually at the event. And also, just to let you know, these questions can also be used on employers. So if you were just to say you met one of the talent managers and you said, "Oh, actually, like, how did you get into your field? How did you become a production executive? Well, how did you start out and now where you are today?" So these are questions you can still use in employers as well as creatives. It's still very open. So it's just a matter of really how you put yourself out there and work it. Is everything making sense, everyone? Everyone feels good with that and all good to get into the breakout rooms? Yeah? Can I get a thumbs up just to make sure? Yeah, cool. Okay, cool. So I'm just going to do breakout rooms now. We've got, say, so do, okay. Okay, I'm going to do 4 breakout rooms. It'll be 4 each, actually, 2. Cool. All right. So everyone should be getting the breakout room. So you're all going to be split up, and then yeah, take it from there. Okay. Cool. And obviously, Anna, you can stay in here as well, so it's all good. Cool. I just brought you back in, Anya. So then Eloise, I think you should be going to room 4. Okay, there you go. Yeah, cool. Yeah, the breakout rooms can be very funny sometimes. So right now you've got 3 people in one room, 2 in one, 4 in one, and then 4 in another room. So 4, 4, 3, 2. Okay. Yeah, I think that's okay. Yeah. Just kind of numbers because am I mute? Oh, no, I can't hear you. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Can you?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, you're on mute.
Yeah.
That's fine, yeah.
Sometimes when my AirPods come out a little bit, they disconnect.
Oh, okay, that's it. Yeah, yeah. I think what it is with these is that happens sometimes when I'm on call where if I'm on it for so long, like doing something like this, it might disconnect or something. I'm not too sure. It does its own little thing, but has everyone been able to hear me okay? I think should be
Yeah. It's been okay, yeah.
okay, cool. Yeah, we're gonna leave them in there up until about 8:15 and then around that, yeah, give them like 10 or so minutes and then get everyone to return back and then just go through the questions. So basically we'll choose one volunteer each. So basically when we go in room 1, we'll be like, so De Niro, what did you, can you see that? You can see the break rooms, can't you? You can see who's in what breakout room, right? Or you can't.
I tried to see, but I can't. I don't know where to look at, like what I pressed to look at breakout rooms.
Oh,
I,
okay, yeah. So you need to press. So there's a button called more, like the three
yeah.
dots. Press more and then press breakout rooms.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it
Yeah.
can it I have the choice to join, but if I join it, it'll put me in there. I can't see like who's in which, but I can join them.
Oh, you can't see who's in what right now.
No, I can just
Okay,
join
cool,
it.
cool. All right, now I'll just do this bit then. That's fine. I don't know why it's done that because you're co-host, so that's okay. That's all good. It's cool. We'll make it work. Um, yeah. Well, there were some people that came in, but again, like I said, we can't let them in. Like, it's just again, it's recorded. So, you did you write down people in the waiting room?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Cool.
Oh, wait, write down the people that's in the in the
Yeah, like
waiting room.
people
Yeah,
that
there was only one person,
Queen
but
and
I
there was another person as well, wasn't there, earlier when they came in, but we didn't
and
let.
they left.
Yeah, yeah,
There
yeah.
was there was one person that joined and left, which I wrote down, but I think they joined back again. But yeah, and then I wrote down the people that don't have that's not on that list as well.
Okay, yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and then just Queen. I know who Queen is. So, the annoying thing is that Queen's emails actually her inbox is actually full. So, yeah. I mean, getting this over to her is going to be quite difficult. But I mean, look, it is what it is. We can't obviously accept her because it's quite late and she won't get much out of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll give it some time. Give it till like about again. So there's four breakout rooms. I'm just going to literally say, oh, so room one, Alina, what did you find out? Who did you speak to? What did you find out? Room two, room three, room four, and then we move into the follow up, and then we move on to Q&A. That's how I'm going to do it.
Okay.
But overall, yeah, I think it's all good. They're going to get this recorded, so obviously, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, just give it like yeah, up until let's say it was like 8:15 ish, just a bit after that. Good.
Okay. So is the breakout rooms recorded as well?
Yes, it will. Yeah. Actually, it's a good question. The breakout rooms only record if I go in there or if you go in there. So basically, when I
Okay.
join, it says recording in progress. So actually, no. But when we come back to this anyway, they're going to see the questions anyway. We're going to talk about it, so it should be completely fine. Yeah, yeah, it should be completely fine. If they
Okay.
need like the questions and stuff, we can send over to them anyway.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, cool. All right. Well, cool. Or Zoom has its own mind of its own sometimes with sound. So, And there was 30 people registered and 15 came.
17 I have.
17, yeah. Well, the two is us basically. So it'll be yeah,
Oh,
15.
15. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I've just counted. It is 15. Yeah.
Yeah. But that's good because that's half of the people that registered. So that's actually pretty good if you think
Yeah.
about it in terms of coming to so that basically means there would be 15 people in person, which is
Yeah.
actually what we normally have, 15 to 20 people. So that's actually pretty
Yeah.
good. Yeah. Cool. It should be. That's just to show you actually, because I'm think I'm am I sharing the screen? This you can see the screen, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is what you're seeing. This is what you're going to see. This is the breakout rooms. You probably can see that. That's who's in what breakout room, but you can't see. I'm not too sure why you can't, but
Yeah,
obviously,
I can just see like how many like breakout rooms they are, and then when I click one, it will say join. But I think if I click join, I'll just end up in there.
yeah, I won't say participant share. Cool. Fine. Yeah, 8:15. We'll give it like a couple of minutes because they went in about 8:06. So basically, I want to give it like 10 minutes or so. Um, Probably start getting them to return in a couple of minutes, like probably at 17, and then go through it, follow up, and then um get any Q&A. But overall, I think it's all good. I'm gonna let them back in. As I let them back in, it will be can you hear me? Okay, Anya, can you hear me? Yeah, you're on mute. That's why.
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah, yeah, you're on mute. So yeah, so I'm gonna let them back in just like a minute or so. It'll basically 60 seconds. So what happens is that basically there's gonna be a countdown for them that, oh, you have 60 seconds, and then just sort of, yeah, just basically what when they're gonna come back in. So what I'll do when it hits 2019, 8:19, I'm literally gonna start getting them in, so they're in around 8:20, and then just go around the room, literally have it in front of me here and say, Nima, what did you find out? Who did you speak to? What did you find out? And then room three, Hannah, what did you find out? And then room four, etc. That sort of thing.
Okay.
Which helps a lot. Yeah. So, Queen's still in the waiting room as well.
Oh, she's still in the waiting room.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, I just you
Maybe
can't.
she thought it started at 8, maybe.
I mean, it finishes when annual. But I hear you. I hear
Yeah.
you. Uh, cool. All right, let me start letting people back in. So I'm gonna close all the rooms. Everyone's gonna start coming in. Okay. Cool. I'm slowly coming back in. Get there. Luke, Hannah, how did you find that? Anyway, I don't know if you were in this. Oh yeah, you were in the same room. Okay, cool.
I think it went really well. It was really nice to hear Luke and Maya's background. I actually knew Maya from high school, so it was really a small world to bump into her. But it was nice to see that we all came from like quite different backgrounds, but we were all kind of going through a similar struggle, and then we're just trying to find what works best for us, I think.
Yeah. Cool. So Hannah, who did you? So you spoke to Luke, you'd say. So what did you kind of find out about Luke in terms of his typical day? What did that look like?
So with his fashion and styling background, so correct me if I'm wrong.
It's all right.
All here, so it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, so like with your styling background and that you've been kind of working through like a lot of like similar type events, I'm guessing, and then going through like a fashion course, you were like, oh gosh, like what am I gonna do afterwards? I don't know, like how am I gonna get a job after this? And finding that motivation of learning straight after graduating, especially after lockdown, was really difficult. So I think learning that from Luke's point of view as well, because I think I graduated a year after, and it was slightly different, but still a weird stage to kind of graduate and like find a job during that time. So it was a great learning experience and good insight.
Cool. Okay, no, that's really good to hear. And it's good that you took in information, and there are different points in there that you can obviously take away in that sense. Cool. I want to move on to the next question and move on to a different room. Simi, you were in the room with Topher. So, in terms of what did she enjoy most about what she does, what did you sort of find out in regards to that, or anything that you sort of like got from that?
We were both talking about like just like our love for storytelling, and she talked about how she just likes creating an idea out of nothing and like seeing the final product. So yeah.
Yeah, cool. Perfect. So that's obviously tapping into the storytelling element, ideation, pen to paper, trying to obviously so even to like brainstorming things like that. So you can kind of elaborate so much more on that and pick up points and then say, oh, so that's really interesting, like storytelling. So how do you come up with those ideas? What kind of sparks you, and all those sort of things. So even additional questions that you can add to the question in itself as you kind of hear more from another person. So cool. Okay. Thanks for sharing that. So the next bit is how did you get into your photo media? So I'm going to move on to room two. So Nemo, who did you speak to in regards to this area? What did you sort of find out about them?
So I spoke with Harriet, Desiree, and Frida. We didn't get to that question because we spoke about a lot about like what's our typical day for us, and we spoke quite a lot in depth about like what kind of why do we like what we do, and things like that. So it was a bit of a short time for us.
Okay. Okay, cool. All right. No worries. Obviously I think in terms of why you like what you do and stuff like that, it will kind of lead more into um sort of where it all spurred from in regards to like, what they're doing and why they enjoy what they do. So, that can kind of like be even sort of you can look for that at the event and I kind of even ask more questions about that as well. So cool. Okay. So the last question, anyone get to the last question in terms of so I'm gonna go to like room one, which has Sandra, Danera, and me and Alina. Did you guys get to this last question here? Exciting projects and stuff? Or is that still something that you were sort of like still sort of talking about? So if I Sandra, if I yeah.
Yeah, hi.
Yeah.
We so I did speak we I mean I spoke to Amar about this. She mentioned because obviously all of us were at different stages of our life as well. Obviously some of us are working, some of us and so Amar was, she I mean again also correct me if I'm wrong as well if I say anything wrong. But she mentioned that she's still at uni doing an internship at the United Music Group. Is that what you said?
United Entertainment Group.
Yeah, United Entertainment Group. Yeah, sorry. But she was just talking about what she was doing there and just with the artists and just, I mean, it sounded really interesting, something I wish I did as an internship, honestly, when I was, I mean, I say that as if I'm really old, but like 2, 3 years ago, if I did that as well, that'd be really, really cool as well. So yeah, the internship sounded really cool. So we didn't get to talk about this too much in detail with everyone, but no, I think it's a really beneficial question. I think at a networking event. So yeah, I think we'll all like look forward to asking that when we meet in person as well. But yeah.
Cool. And tapping on to what Amir's internship and what she's done, I think obviously you can kind of talk more about what did she learn from it, like the experiences, or like was there something that she really enjoyed about it, or in terms of the project in the sense, kind of like even
Yeah.
it's a matching the question as well. Cool. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. All right. How did everyone find that in terms of like being in the break rooms, getting to know each other, sort of like connecting with each other in terms of the networking questions? How does everyone feel about that? I know it's obviously online, but we're trying to make it as interactive as possible. So does everyone feel like a bit more confident or a bit more sort of understand exactly what you can ask kind of at a networking event when you come into the room, and sort of how you can kind of make a conversation about it before we just go into the follow-up and then wrap up the event and then go into Q&A. Everyone feels good about that? Yeah. Yeah, cool. Okay. All right. So let's get into the last bit, which is the follow-up side of things. So I told you guys were going to get distracted by the gifts. So we just talked about networking. Those are the key questions, and obviously we'll send that across to you anyway. But does anyone know when a follow-up occurs? Like in terms of like following up, does anyone had to like do any of that? Anyone knows how it occurs post networking? Any idea?
Maybe you probably send like an email or something. We had like a networking thing in Ravensbourne one time, and we got like a BBC's person come in, and so we did send an email back to her with our CV or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, cool. Yeah. Anyone else? Sounds like a follow-up. Yes.
Can I go?
Yeah, Sandra, yeah, please.
I had quite a few experiences with that, and for me, most of the time it has been either LinkedIn or Instagram, which is something that I discovered lately that it's even more of a thing than LinkedIn apparently to just message back on Instagram like usually a day after. That's kind of how I do it. To just have a quick like it was nice meeting you, and let's keep in contact and just kind of keep the conversation going.
Yeah, 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 definitely, definitely. Yeah, so there's lots of various ways you can follow up, and obviously I'm going to show you just various different ways to do it and give you examples, sort of like a bit of a role play. So I'll do a bit of role play with Anya, and kind of like show you exactly what this kind of means. So just basically ignore my big gift, but basically from top to bottom, what you can see is ways you can follow up. So so Anya, I'm gonna kind of do a bit of role play with you. I know I haven't actually done this before with you, but it's gonna be really, really simple. So for example, the first bit is like saying thank you. So for example, when you come to the event, there could be sort of just sort of something that you learned from the event or something that you took away, and it's sort of like thanking the company that you talked to Dan, or thanking the media partners that you met at the event, or even thanking someone just in general that you met, just to kind of say, oh, thank you for actually sharing your experience on XYZ. I really took away so and so forth. And what that follows up with is a results update. So just do a bit of role play here really briefly. So with Anya, and just basically give you an example. So the results update could be, Anya obviously earlier talked about some few ideas in terms of the briefs, and you might add on to the idea, or you might kind of take on from that idea and kind of like, put it into practice when you come to the event. You might email Anya post event and say, oh, hi Anya, the stuff we spoke about at the Talk to Dan pre-networking event was really interesting. Actually, some of the ideas or some of the stuff we spoke about actually elaborated on that and actually, talks about that at the event. And the guys really liked it. And I'm actually going to be doing a 1 week placement, or I'm going to be expanding more on this sort of stuff that they put together for the brief. So does that make sense in terms of the results update means kind of keeping in touch with Anya, letting her know how it's going on, giving her sort of like a follow-up in that sense. Is that making sense to everyone? Sort of that follow-up side of things? Cool. So those are really the two key elements of the follow-up. Same thank you, give results update. I want to skip to introduce new contact, because spreading holiday cheer is basically, you might just say a good summer, Christmas, Easter, etc. So it's kind of like connecting with your contact once they're in your actual contacts. Often an interesting article. Does anyone know what that is before I get into the contacts bit? So just interesting article. What do you think that means if you're speaking to someone about their industry? Anyone kind of have a little guess? Dinero, I'm going to come to you. What do you think an interesting article could be about? Do you think that if you're speaking to someone, if it comes to following up?
If I'm speaking to someone, I think it would be something relevant to their field, or something, or maybe like somebody that is relevant to their field or in their field. And I would say, oh, hey, look, there's this person or there's this company and they're into this, and I thought it'd be useful for you.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Exactly that. Yeah. Interesting article basically means kind of looking out for people, looking out and seeing that, oh, you might be interested into graphic design, and Hannah, you might be interested in fashion, and it's like, oh, there's a really good event here that I think actually will be good for you. You should just check this out, etc. Introducing new contacts as being a matchmaker, right? So again, there might be ways you guys are all connected in here, and you might know someone that could do graphic design on a certain project, and you might know someone that can do editing, and you want to combine the two together because they might need that sort of service or that sort of help within their projects, right? Which is really, really key, right? But yeah, does that make sense in regards to that side of things? Yeah. Okay. And just to kind of like wrap up the other bits, like congratulations, like LinkedIn, make a recommendation is sort of recommending people different things to like read or to kind of like look at in terms of creative stuff, or just in general, or maybe somewhere to go to kind of like connect with people, social events and stuff. So that all makes sense in terms of like the follow-up side of things and sort of like how to connect with each other post networking. Everyone feels confident about that? Okay, cool. All right, cool. So that's the end of the event. I know I'm gonna have to just go. And we're supposed to finish at 8:30, just a couple of minutes over. So yeah, we were obviously excited to see all of you at the event, 24th of July. And the doors open from 5 p.m. The event starts at 6 p.m. sharp. So we obviously, kind of encourage you to get there early as possible, so you can obviously be mingling with the media partners and other creatives. One thing that we want to be able to do, especially that you're in this room, is sort of like, leave your LinkedIn, Instagrams, TikToks, anything that can, that way you can kind of connect. It's good that obviously you've all been in here, the pre-network event, and I think it's really good to kind of just leave that in the chat so you can all connect to each other. Amir's just done that. Actually just left. I actually had to head off, but it'd be good for everyone to kind of just do that before we kind of close this call. And one thing I would say as well is that this has been recorded. So obviously everyone's going to get a record, and everyone that's been in this call. So you'll be able to kind of look back at stuff if you want to, just before you get into the event. Our emails are open, so you can always email us if you have any queries or questions about anything. But if anyone does have any sort of questions about the event now, feel free to just sort of nudge us now, or if you want to kind of send something across email, that's completely fine. But again, feel free to chat box to share your socials and stuff. But if there's any questions, we're open to questions, and if not, then obviously, yeah, we'll see you at the event. But I hope obviously uh everyone enjoyed this and it was very useful as well. We made it as engaging as possible. Obviously, in person, we normally do in person, but it's just the space that we wanted to book was not really available in that sense. And also, there are some young people that are coming from outside London. So we wanted to make it accessible to them as well this year to make so they made this online. But yeah, it's been a pleasure to kind of speak to everyone, and I can't wait to obviously meet everyone as well. And yeah, any burning questions now, feel free to say now if ever hold your peace. Or you can always obviously share it across email. We're open to obviously answering it there and then, you know. Cool. So yeah, that's it. Annie, do you have any last words or anything you want to say?
Um, the only thing I can say is make sure to add everyone on everything, because networking will get you very far. And you never know, someone in this room might end up doing something really great, and then networking is good. It's good.
Yeah, likewise. Cool. Okay. Okay, we'll leave it like that. Then obviously, if you have any questions or queries about the event, the briefs, anything that we spoke about, just feel free to email us. You've all got our emails. You've got my personal email, Nicole's email, the info email. I'm sure you've got that as well. So yeah, we're open to talking and yeah, leave you all to it. But I appreciate everyone staying back a little bit, just 5 minutes over. Appreciate your time, and I'll see you next Thursday. Yeah, I hope you all enjoy uh the weekend and just the next week. Okay, cool. Everyone take care. Cool. Okay, cool. All right, I'm just gonna stop the recording.